Studies show that only 1 in 4 people naturally rise before 6 a.m. Society romanticizes it. The hustle culture posters, the 5 a.m. club merchandise, the CEOs who brag about their 4:30 alarm. But you don't wake up early because someone told you to. You wake up early because something inside you needs that silence before the world starts asking things of you. And that need, it didn't come from a productivity book. You weren't always like this. There was a version of you who slept in, who dragged yourself to the edges of the morning only when you had to. Maybe you were a teenager who stayed up until 2 a.m., who found the night exciting, who felt most alive when the house was dark and everyone else had surrendered to sleep. Or maybe you were just ordinary in your relationship with mornings, neutral, unbothered. The alarm went off and you got up. No ritual, no intention, just motion. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. Life got louder. The days started feeling like they belonged to everyone except you, your boss, your family, your notifications, the endless current of other people's needs pulling at you before you'd even had a chance to remember who you were. And so you started stealing the morning back. That's not discipline. That's survival intelligence. Dr. Christoph Randler, a biological researcher at the University of Education in Heidelberg, published findings showing that early risers consistently report higher levels of personal agency, the feeling that you are directing your life rather than being swept along by it. His research isn't about productivity, it's about something quieter and more profound, the human need to author your own day before the world co-writes it without your permission. What Randler discovered is that morning people aren't just wired differently in their sleep cycles, they're wired differently in how they relate to control. Not control over others, control over the self. And you've known that feeling. You've felt what it's like when you miss your morning window, when you wake up late and immediately fall into reaction mode, when the day starts happening to you instead of for you. It feels like wearing someone else's clothes. But here's what nobody tells you about where that feeling comes from. It starts earlier than you think. For many early risers, the pattern traces back to childhood environments where unpredictability was the norm. Maybe the house got loud by mid-morning. Maybe emotions ran high once the day got going. Maybe you learned, quietly, without anyone explaining it to you, that the safest hours were the early ones before the chaos clock started. Your younger self figured something out. Get up before the world does, and you get to exist on your own terms for just a little while. That's not a flaw in your wiring. It's a blueprint your younger self drew to survive, and it worked. You got your peace, you got your window, and your nervous system remembered. Now, here's the part that deserves honesty. This trait carries weight. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine notes that chronic early rising, especially when it's driven by anxiety rather than natural chronotype, can quietly accumulate into sleep debt that doesn't always announce itself loudly. Harvard research on circadian biology confirms that forcing an early schedule against your natural rhythm elevates cortisol in ways that dull cognitive sharpness over time. And there's a social cost too. You've probably felt it, the slow drift from friends who operate on evening time, the dinner invitations you decline, the way people joke that you're no fun because you're gone by 9 p.m. The isolation of the early morning is peaceful, and it is isolating. Both things are true, and you already knew that, even if you rarely say it out loud. But here's what a decade of sleep science is finally catching up to confirm. A 2021 study published in Nature Communications analyzing the genetic data and behavioral patterns of nearly 700,000 people found that morning chronotypes, natural early risers, demonstrated significantly greater psychological well-being, lower rates of depression, and stronger reported satisfaction with their lives. Not because they were more productive, because they had more consistent access to solitude. Researcher Celine Vetter, who studies circadian health at the University of Colorado, describes this as temporal autonomy, the experience of owning your own time. And temporal autonomy, it turns out, is one of the strongest predictors of long-term mental health. Your alarm isn't a discipline tool, it's a boundary. Every morning you draw a line between yourself and the noise, and you live inside that line for one quiet hour before you give the rest of the day away. That changes what you're allowed to call yourself. Society calls you rigid. It calls you antisocial, boring, incapable of spontaneity. The real word is sovereign. A sovereign person doesn't wait for permission to have peace. They build the conditions for it consistently before the world wakes up and starts negotiating. You are not running from your life when you rise at 5 a.m. You are running toward the only version of your day that belongs entirely to you. So if you've ever felt guilty for not being a night person, for leaving the party early, for choosing your morning over someone else's timeline, let this be the moment that guilt ends. There is nothing wrong with you. You found through years of living that your best self exists in the quiet before the noise, and you protect that. You show up for that version of yourself every single morning before anyone else even asks you to show up for them. That's not a quirk. That's self-knowledge most people spend their whole lives chasing. The question isn't whether you should keep waking up early. The question is, what will you do with the silence now that you know it's sacred? Drop in the comments, what do you do with your early morning hours that you'd never trade? You already knew who you were.